Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you how to look at the results of an assessment and analyze data with Edulastic. We're here on the dashboard screen and I'm going to use a real assessment but a fictional classroom of students. This was for an actual 5th grade assessment that was given this year, but the students we'll be looking at today don't really exist. So let's first click on the class that we want to examine, which would be this one right here. And you can see I've got a list of all of the assessments that this class has done. We're going to be looking at the first assessment, which is called Topic 3.5. So I'm going to click on the picture of the test here, and now we're going to see this screen which is full of information. So let's break it down. Over here you can see the class average score for this assessment. You can also see that all 6 of my students completed the test. One interesting thing to note is that the screen will react in real time when your students take the test. In other words, you can see how your students are performing on the test as they're taking the test, which if nothing else is good accountability for those students who have the tendency to rush through a test. Over here we can see how the class performed on each question. Obviously green represents the students who answered correctly. Red represents the students who answered incorrectly, and yellow represents the students who answered part of the question correctly. This blue line going right across each question represents the average amount of time each student took on these questions. So this will help me really be able to gauge the effort that was put forth on some of these questions. I can also look at this per student if I want to. Below this, I can see each of my students in this class, and I can see their score as a percentage and as however many questions they got right. I can also see this color coding here of which questions were answered correctly, incorrectly, or partially correct. And so what I can do is let's just, for example, let's look at this question right here for Adam. And we'll see that here's a question that he answered incorrectly, which was expanded form. Now, one thing I want you to note is this little box over here. If I wanted to override this score and count it correctly for Adam anyways, I could. All I would have to do is delete his answer and change it, or delete his score and change it. I can also give him some written feedback if I wanted to. And I can put that right here and just click on Save. But what I can do here is see, okay, here's where Adam struggled. This is what he thought the answer was, and obviously that is incorrect. So let's go back once again and look at our entire classroom and look at the data as a whole. What I can do here is really identify which questions did the class seem to struggle with. One of the ones that stands out to me is question 12. I can see that one student answered correctly, and the remainder of them either missed it entirely or missed part of it. So I'm going to click on question 12. I have this graph right here, which shows how all of the students did on this question. And you can see that only Matthew was successful at answering this question correctly. Everyone else either missed it entirely or missed it partially. Let's look at what that question was. I can scroll down here and see what it was. So question 12, you can see, says select the multiples of 7. I can see here which student answered this. This is Adam, and Adam chose 1 and 7 for his multiples of 7. As a teacher, I can see here that he probably thinks that multiples and factors, he probably got those mixed up. So that's a pretty easy remediation or reteaching that I can give to Adam. These green checks represent what the answer was supposed to be. So I can really even go through and see what every student put for number 12. You can see as I scroll down each time, I'm looking at the same question, but a different student and what their answer was. What I can also do is, with this screen right here, I can form my small groups. If I wanted to, if this was a larger class, now I could say, I'm going to pull every student who missed, and we're going to revisit the concept of multiples. That's an easy way for you to be precise with your data. The last thing I can do here is click on Reports. And what I can do here is check out a different layout of the standard mastery for this particular assessment. All I have to do is set my filters here, and This was a grade 5 assessment, and I attached Common Core standards to it. And you'll be able to see each student right here down the left-hand side. And I can see some of the standards here. If I expand it, I can get an even more detailed view of each indicator and whether or not the student has mastered it yet or not, according to this assessment. So here's one other way to make groups if you'd like to, or really get a feel for whether or not your students mastered a concept or not. This would probably be particularly useful if you have a large group of kids that are taking an assessment. I hope this has been a helpful tutorial for you today. Good luck in your assessment, writing, and analysis. Thanks, everybody.